driving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon, everyone. Doing things a little differently. I'm just checking something here real quick and we'll get started. All right. Okay. Enough checking on that. Try to see if I can add myself in a couple of groups. Well, I'm the admin for a couple of groups. So, yeah. I'm just giving it a minute, see if anybody shows up. Dong, 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 dong. It's saying that there's some problems here. That's why. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, in that case, all right, let's just go ahead and get started. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. This might be kind of tough for me to get started on this because, hey, Gary. So sometimes, so I'm having a little problem, and I'm feeling, and I'm getting over it, but I have to explain what's going on so that you understand, right? And I don't get invited to a lot of recovery events and stuff, and sometimes that can hurt, especially when it's friends doing it and stuff. But I was sitting here thinking about it. Is that something that I brought on myself, my PTSD? Maybe people fear asking me, and I kind of feel like I put myself in that situation. I think this is of my own making. I do tend to let people know that I have PTSD. It's hard for me to get a house. So how can I expect that people be like, "Oh, do you come along?" And so that's that. So the AA mask. Do you act the same way in a meeting as you do outside of a meeting? So a lot of times you'll go to meetings and there are some people that just never have problems. There's your problems, right? They don't talk about what's going on in their lives. They usually when they share, it's pretty roundabout, or they're here's the good one where they're very grateful, but I'm so fucking grateful. Shouldn't do that. Half the animals in the house probably just ran. Right. And it could be tough because you meet somebody and you get to know them a little bit, and it turns out they're not the person that they would say that they are in those meetings. You want to see what somebody's really like? Ask them for a ride. Get in the car with them. How do you act when there is a reactive state happening? Is that starting to make sense? So you can't just go to AA and start to get it by osmosis. That's not how it works. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. Welcome, Peter. Welcome. Good to have you. And I believe that it talks about, that we have to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Okay. That means at work. It means at 7-Eleven. It means at the courthouse. It means when I'm doing jury duty. It means when I'm doing things with my wife. You know, that I am more now. I am more attuned to the fact of what other people around me might need, right? Because God is taking care of my needs, and what that does is it frees me up to be able to help other people. Okay. Now, the person that you see here is the person that you will get all the time anytime you talk to me. I don't care what I'm doing. This is the person that I am. I used to think that I'd have to wear different hats and do this and, which worked really well with my multiple personalities, right? I'm happy to be living in a split level head. Okay. What does that come down to? It comes down to honesty. Honesty with yourself. I'm huge on this. I'm big on being honest with yourself. All right. So we have principles before personalities, right? But sometimes they're not the person that you thought they were. You were duped or fooled. Remember, we alcoholics are very good at manipulation. We're very good at putting on a mask for a long period of time. My friend Chris just wrote me back. She said, I don't get invited either. Don't worry about it. See, sometimes we will set ourselves up for things that we just don't need to go through. Kenny Mabry, welcome back. It's good to see you again. Right now, we're talking about the AA mask and how sometimes we'll put on a pretty face when we go into our meetings so that everybody thinks that we're okay, when really we're not. But we want to hide it probably for fear or pride. Maybe it's other things. But sooner or later, somebody's going to figure out that you're whistling in the dark, that you're just a little boy whistling in the dark trying to keep your spirits up. And they'll know that because they've been there before. I've been there before. When I did a lot of relapsing, yeah, I was always whistling in the dark, man. Inwardly, I'd give anything to get away with a half dozen drinks. You know, it is. I don't really feel like that really goes. I don't really feel like we get to get into the nitty gritty and be honest with ourselves until the obsession is removed. Okay, then we can really start to look at some things and what our intentions are. Okay, and it's funny because the only time I really talk about alcohol is when I do this or meetings, which I do all the time. So I guess I'm talking about alcohol all the time. But even then, we're not just talking about the alcohol. I talk about a lot of the isms that we have, whether that be anger or fear. And that's a big one for men right there is anger. All right. So let's talk about anger because show me a man, I'll show you an anger problem, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm a pretty low key guy. Dude, I can push your buttons. Give me a little bit. I'll piss you off. There's gonna be something you feel very deeply about that I could poke at, right? I'm not going to do that. I don't do that shit. Not anymore. Right? So I don't want you to beat up on yourself if you ended up getting to know a person. Maybe they just didn't turn out to be the person that you thought. Remember, we are all trying to figure out who we are. We're all 13 years old again, man. Our emotional sobriety is very stunted, and we have to work on that. So put away the mask, man. It isn't going to do you any good. It really isn't. Right? Now, you may continue going to meetings and people may continue buying it, or maybe they're starting to figure it out. So you switch meetings. I know how this works. Right? So I'm going to ask you when you're out and about and you're talking to one of those friends that they're good all the time. I'm doing great. I'm great. Never heard, well, they just never have anything to do with money. No. You're probably dealing with somebody that has major depression. We are really good at faking well. Okay. Why is that? We had to. We were taught that way. You were taught that. Yep. You bet your ass you were. Especially if you were a man. You don't. I grew up in the age where children were seen, not heard. You did not give your opinion. They didn't want to fucking hear. So when my nieces and my kids and stuff, and they come up to me and they have suggestions, I listen to them. I listen to them because they may say something I need to hear. God, I don't get to pick who God talks through to me. That's the joy. That's the fun of the program, right? So we got some chats up here. Let's hit some of these. Gary says, "Oh yes, I totally get it. I just got done dealing with the exact situation a couple weeks ago, and yeah, I had to walk away from that person, and that can be tough to do." Peter says, God tell us to do the right thing no matter how we get to Him. Different religions and different ideas, but there's only one God. Got it. I like that, Peter. You know, and utilizing a God of your understanding, because you may understand God differently than I do. Okay, that's okay. there's a it isn't any different from, like, some people learn better from reading, some people learn better from actually doing it. Okay, it's kind of like that in a sense. Okay, where you're going to learn differently, find out what your passion is. I love playing drums. I find God in music all the time. He answers me through music all the time, right? Song come on, no crap, huh? Right? Song come on like, Dion, don't take yourself so fucking seriously. I mean, literally, that's the kind of music that'll come out, right? And that's because I'm honest with myself, and God knows what kind of person I want to be now. I've made my intentions very clear with Him. He did not demand shit from me. Nothing. Actually, that's not true. He wanted me to be happy. He said, Dion, this is what we're going to do. He's like, here's the deal, Dion. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take away your obsession. I'm going to take away your anger. I'm going to take away your rage, your depression. And I'm going to replace it with joy. I'm going to replace it with serenity, with things in your life that matter, right? And have deep meaning in it. So something's going on upstairs. I don't know if you guys can hear that. So that's what the AA mask is. Okay, when we're acting differently. So when you're in an AA meeting or you're in your meeting and you feel great, you leave, take those same principles and apply them in your life. I literally run my company and my life by the 12 traditions because they work. And we're in that same kind of situation where some of us need to be anonymous. So go out and do not be afraid to be the person that you are. If you're crazy and kooky and have fun, do it. There is nothing wrong with being the person that you actually are. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Kenny, thanks for hanging out. Peter, it was nice to meet you, man. We do this. I do this every day. Been doing it for about 3 years. So feel free to join us at any time with it. So it was good. It was good to meet you, Gary. Thanks for being here as always. So you guys have a great evening. Here, I want to see what Peter has to say here at the end. I work 7 days a week and I help people in our community every day. Yep. Yeah, there you go. And it's not even really the recognition, right? That's how we get paid, right? Is by helping other people and then watching those people succeed. That's my success. That's how I determine success. If Charging Together was based off a success of money, we'd be a failure. So But God seems to pay the bills every single month for this thing. So something's going on. All right, guys. I love you. Peace out. And